A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Kamala's trending. Is it Kamala? Camilla? Chameleon? I don't know. I don't care. It's America. Don't let them forget, baby. Common sense. Can we make common sense great again? But oh, Kamala is did I say it right? It's trending once again. And who wrote the script? I kid you not, y'all. Everybody been saying, Rick, you gotta do a video. Rick, where's your video? We're gonna have a good laugh. Please drop ASAP. Breaking news. Kamala Harris. I don't know. Have we all been pronouncing it wrong? The CNN panel just blew up on Nancy Mace because everybody's been pronouncing it wrong. They call us racist. Everybody's so sensitive, man. These liberals, the left, they're so sensitive. You know, there's no common sense, and everybody is sensitive. We're always going to take steps back forth. We're never going to move forward in this country. I tell you. You know, it's sad, man. All this race baiting, race hustling, black, Indian, yellow, green, Asian, Vietnamese, Latino. I don't care, man. One love to the human race. It's disgusting. It's nothing but distractions, man. And they literally built a candidate, and people are clapping this on. You know, I'm sick of the lies. I'm sick of all this crap, man. It's just crap. But breaking news: Kamala Harris admits that the Trump administration had American grocery bills lower than the current Biden-Harris administration. Boy, who is writing the script? Throw the binder out the window, throw the script out, throw everything out the window. Yeah, somebody to be fired. We're gonna have a good show today. I ain't lying to you. Yeah, welcome to the show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. I got that moonshine in the cup. This is that blueberry, raspberry, cherry drizzle. That cherry drizzle. Amen. Hallelujah. For them hard-working patriots right there. I had to take a sip for them hard-working patriots that are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Tons just got off work just now. And then they got to go to their second job. Man, salute to the ones that made the ultimate sacrifice, man. Man, I tell you, we love you guys, man. I'm wishing the best in all you guys' life, your family, your kids' life, the friends, the neighbors, the strangers around the world, baby. It got to be too big to rig this year, man. Too big to rig. Let's check this out though. What? So when she was speaking, this was the only people there? What is hold on, y'all. What is going on? Y'all know I gotta get to the bottom of this, man. I gotta keep it real with y'all. We gonna see, and then you gotta be careful on this platform X, because you'll scroll down and it be people twerking and all kind of stuff. Yay! What is that? Okay, now here we go, y'all. Now this is what I want to show you. Let me see if it got
Trump,
it.
and I.
All right, yeah. Now this right here is what I want to show everybody. I might throw it in the beginning of the video, but this is what I want to show everybody right here. Boy, you just can't make this up. You just can't make this. I know y'all probably been seeing this clip all day today. Yeah.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Like them beautiful Patriots say, you just can't make this up. You just can't, man. Look at everybody blowing me up right now. Shout out to them beautiful people just blowing me up, man. I love you guys. Y'all just blowing me up right now, man. You just can't make this up, man. You just can't make this stuff up, you know? Well, let's go and get into it, y'all. Where's that clip I want to show? And I think we're gonna pull up Judge Janine.
Harris rolling out an economic plan that would make Stalin smile by pushing price controls and masking it as a corporate price gouging ban. But we've seen this movie before, and it always ends in disaster. Just ask the Soviet Union. Price controls led to the massive shortages of food and essentials. Here's the vice president.
Our country has come a long way since President Biden and I took office. Many Americans don't yet feel that progress in their daily lives. Costs are still too high. As president, I will take on the high
We don't feel no progress.
costs that matter most to most Americans, like the cost of food.
Wait. Who is that in the back there laughing? Who is that look at this fella right here. Y'all see this fella right here? Is he on your top right or your top left, or depending on which way you're watching it? That fella right there in the gray, he starts giggling when she's
Matter most to most Americans, like the cost.
Look, he's back there. They're back there laughing. You just can't make this up.
Of food. A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%. I will work to pass the first ever federal ban on price gouging on food.
And if that didn't satisfy her communist cravings, Kamala is also proposing giving first-time home buyers up to $25,000, aka your hard-earned money, so that they can buy a house.
While we work on the housing shortage, my administration will provide first-time home buyers with $25,000 to help with the down payment on a new home. We can do this. We can do this. All to help more Americans experience the pride of home ownership and the financial security that it represents and brings. So that's my plan.
But you know you've crossed the line when the liberal Washington Post calls you a commie. Check out this headline they wrote. It says, quote, when your opponent calls you communist, maybe don't propose price controls. And even CNN's calling it a gimmick.
First of all, nobody can explain what price gouging means. You've seen this kind of thing tried in lots of other countries before, Venezuela, Argentina, the Soviet Union, etc. It leads to shortages. It leads to black markets. The specific way this bill is written might actually increase prices.
Reasonable people would ask, what does that mean? What does that really mean? And how is the government going to be involved in it? Is this just a ploy? Because it sounds kind of like it.
Oh, boy.
All right, Joey, I'll start with you. Yep. Price gouging, it's some say, and I do, that it's a socialist attempt to put a cap or reduce prices, when in the end, it really is about supply and demand, and it's never worked in history.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny how they love to use before the pandemic so that they can encompass the Trump years into where prices, interest rates, things have gone. But Trump can't say that. Trump can't say that, hey, in a regular world, I did really well for 2.5 years and the pandemic screwed up some things. He can't say that, but they can, because it puts some distance between them and their bad policies or the results of them. What's really funny to me is that the root cause czar, is that appropriate? Because she's not the border czar, but she may be the root cause czar. As the root cause czar, she's trying to fix the price of housing and the affordability of housing and the affordability of groceries on the back end, on the purchasing end, rather than what's causing these things to be expensive to begin with. You think Kamala Harris, of all people, who should have a doctorate in what root causes are, she's traveled everywhere but the border to find out what the root causes are of immigration. You think she would want to fix the root cause of the price of groceries? And let me tell you what it is. It's energy. I live in a place, I have more cows than people as neighbors. Everything around me is either growing food or growing animals to become food. Diesel costs so much they can't do it. I can't give the hay off my farm away because it costs too much money to come cut it, bale it, and take it wherever they want it to go. The price of food is up because the price of creating food is up, and that starts with energy. So if you want a root cause, look at energy.
Energy. And what did Trump say? Oh boy, common sense. Telling y'all, America needs Trump, man. We need those qualified individuals in office, man, if we're going to turn this thing around, or things are just going to get worse. And I mean real worse. And what's coming, what the next big thing that's coming, a lot of people are not going to be ready for it. I'll tell you now.
You know, the interesting thing is, Martha, when she talks about $25,000, you know, isn't that great? Wouldn't that be great? I mean, forget about the fact that those homes are going to cost $25,000 more. But she is part of the economy that created the inflation, and she wants you to believe that she's the one who's going to solve it.
Yeah, so after the pandemic, there were $2.5 trillion jammed into the U.S. economy. And there was money flooding everywhere. And we all don't forget about the billions that were wasted, the billions that were sent to companies in some cases that didn't exist. So we don't hear anything about, you know, how to work down the excesses of all that money that flooded into the economy, because that's where you got 20% increases in everything from milk to bread to cars to energy. So that's why we have this huge inflationary force in the country. It is not because there are big corporations who can't unfairly, she doesn't want them to unfairly exploit consumers and run up excessive corporate profits. These food companies have like a 1.9% profit margin. They know there's a lot of pressure on a food company not to raise prices, right? Because they don't want to get cut out by the competitor, and they don't want to price themselves out of what people can buy at the grocery store. The only time they raise prices is when their suppliers start creeping up their prices, and eventually they have to raise their prices. But these are not highly profitable companies that she's talking about. And I love the fact that they want the FTC to penalize corporations who violate the rules. We just had this big Supreme Court case, which you know better than any of us, the Chevron case, which basically said don't allow these agencies to become basically big brother, like a socialist government. So now the FTC is going to show up at your business and go, let me see your books. Like, why did you make so much money last year? I'm from the government, and I'm here to tell you whether or not you're price gouging. I mean, that is going to cause American businesses to shrink up, not want to be in business, not want to open a new business, not want to add a new location, not want to expand. And that's what we heard about today.
You know, some of this this so-called price gouging, I mean, the crazy part of it is that it's about supply and demand, Jessica, and Republican
Oh, hell. That's what them Patriots say. Oh, hell. Here it comes. Please, Jessica, please don't do it today. Don't do it today. Don't do it today. God damn it. Don't do it today. Damn it. Don't do it today. Shit.
Democrat economists agree that, you know, price gouging is something that generally doesn't end up very well. Yeah. But she was, and Kamala talks about her being the attorney general, and I prosecuted these cases. Why? And the reason she's alleging it, she wants a federal ban, is because it's price gouging is all prosecuted by the states. Why didn't she call the individual attorneys general together and say, she's been there 3.5 years. Let's get together and deal with this price gouging. All of you, for each of your states, the White House will help you price gouge and find out who should be prosecuted. But no, she waits until now.
Well, I actually think that's a great idea. And I hope that...
Oh, shit. Yeah. We knew it was coming. Let me let her finish, though.
Kamala is watching. We have read that she likes the show, and I hope that she takes that advice. I think part of the reason that this is coming right now is actually twofold. So one, this is the Kamala Harris top of the ticket. This is something that's a priority for her. She had a markedly different tone in discussing these issues than President Biden did. I never heard President Biden acknowledge that bread is up 50%, for instance. She's obviously fashioning herself differently in that way. The second part of this is it was just in March that the FTC report, it was called Feeding America in Time of Crisis, came out. And they actually identified the fact that companies like Walmart, like Kroger, like Tyson were reaping profits so far above the supply chain problems that they had to call it out. And that's what led to this policy coming into being. So that's what she's going from. And I would also say that you could look at this as antitrust enforcement rather than price controls. And she hasn't been specific about that difference. And if it is antitrust enforcement, that's something that's very in line with who Kamala Harris is and who she has been throughout her career. Net, I think that this was an incredibly good day for Kamala. She was able to introduce herself to the American public in a way that she hadn't before. And you take the contrast of yesterday. So you had President Trump, someone who grew up a millionaire, became a billionaire, standing in front of his golf club, ranting and raving about everything, lying about everything from, GDP rates to poverty rates to energy production, et cetera. And then you have Kamala Harris, someone who's talking about her middle-class upbringing, the fact that her family rented throughout their lives, so she knows what it means for people out there who can't get on the property ladder, someone who worked at McDonald's through college. You couldn't have the starker juxtaposition between these two.
Yeah. Go through the drive-through line and, ma'am, I want these sauces and can I please get a straw? I get home, all I get is 2 sauces and I don't even got my straw in my bag and y'all left out, 2 of my cheeseburgers, And you left out my apple pie. I had 2 apple pies, ma'am. She ain't checked the bag. She just gave it to me through the window. Yeah, I feel bad for those patrons that had to go through that drive-through when Kamala was in that drive-through line. Oh, boy.
2 candidates. And then on top of it, she's saying to people, I feel your pain. I know how much things cost. You know what I want to do? I want to build 3 million new housing units. You know what I want to do? I want to cap prescription drug prices for everyone, not just Medicare recipients. Yesterday, we didn't get to talk about it because of the Trump press conference, but because Medicare is negotiating drug prices, seniors will get to keep $6 billion of their dollars. That's $1.5 billion in out-of-pocket costs that will be saved because of the policies from the Biden-Harris administration. And that's what today is about regular people getting to keep more of their money.
Greg, antitrust enforcement that Jessica talks about is really not the issue. If we're talking about many different supermarkets, many different meat markets, competition is the essence of capitalism. We're not dealing with a monopoly.
Well, first, I want to point out something Jessica said, that Trump began as a millionaire and now he's a billionaire. I think that makes him an expert in this. I would rather listen to somebody who began as a millionaire and is now a billionaire than somebody who doesn't have a damn clue about economics. I've never heard a candidate today more unsure of themselves on a topic than Kamala Harris. I think she's been burdened by the weight of expectations put on her by the media. I've never seen a better campaign ad for Trump. She's campaigning better for Trump than Trump is. First, let's talk about the down payment issue on the House. A lot of this stuff is infuriating, because they're treating the American public like idiots. She makes a proposal that is only half an equation. The first half is, here's a nice thing for you. The second half is missing, who pays for it? You saw this with student loan theft, described as forgiveness. Who paid for it? You paid for it. You see with immigration policy, who's footing the billions and all that free stuff? You're paying for it. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. And the sooner or later you figure that out, the better off you're going to be. And that's directed at Democrats who don't understand that these policies are going to sink this country. If you cap prices, you increase scarcity by diminishing competition. People can call her a communist, but you got to explain this, because the media won't ask the follow-up questions. How do you plan on doing this? Please give me an example. Give me an example where industries got together in a room and decided to drastically increase prices. That doesn't exist. The only example they'll have is, a bodega raised prices on umbrellas when it rained. That's all they got. There is no payoff for industries to artificially inflate their prices, because the people who drive the prices are the consumers. That is, if you want to understand supply and demand, it's the consumers who drive the prices. There is absolutely no debate on this. There is not a single economist who would agree that this is the right thing to do. We can go and talk about Eastern Bloc countries. You can look at the cheap, terrible cars that they made and the appliances they made, but you already know that story. So how do you keep a debate alive if we know this is a fraudulent idea? You don't talk to economists. You listen to politicians or talking heads like me who have to do the research, because I'm sick and tired of hearing people pretend like they know what they're talking about on TV, but they don't. So you won't see economists on other shows, other networks asking these questions. Like, can you give me an example of how this is done? What are the major industries? What is the right price? What is too high? What is too low? Can the government set prices based on not having a knowledge of an industry? What do you mean exactly by price gouging? How is that done beyond unique exceptions? Price gouging is a weak phrase directed at weaker minds.
Can I just add?
Greg just did a mic drop, y'all. OMG. Come on, clap, y'all. Go on, clap. Go on, clap. Damn, I love me some of that Greg, man. I tell you, that Greg right there, man. That common sense Greg. That common sense Greg is a different breed, I'm telling you.
Bravo. Go ahead. Kamala has no time
Look
to...
at, y'all heard, look at Jessica. Look at Jessica.
Can I just add?
Bravo. Go ahead. Kamala has no time to answer pesky questions about her radical record because she's too busy grilling Tim Walz about his white guy tacos.
Click here to subscribe.
Oh boy. That was a good one, man. Whoa, boy. Let me know what y'all think of all that, man. That is something to soak up, huh? Boy. Whoa, boy. Just can't make this up, man. Greg just gave us a mic drop, though. Boy.